If New Zealand is among the list of countries that you would definitely do an undergraduate or graduate degree, then here is a great opportunity through the Manaaki New Zealand Scholarship. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daddy Clip channel. Let's look at a good opportunity for you to do an undergraduate or a graduate degree in New Zealand through the Manaaki New Zealand Scholarship. The scholarship portal will open on the 1st of February and will close on the 29th of February. So you still have enough time to get your documents ready and apply online. The portal will open on the 1st of February at 12 a.m. midnight, that's New Zealand time, and then it will close at 12 p.m. on the 29th of February, New Zealand time 2024. That's midday. And also try to avoid submitting your application late, especially within the last 3 to 10 days of the closing deadline. Try to apply as early as possible. Let's go ahead and look at some details. So if you go to this page, it says applicants applying again. So if you had once applied for this scholarship, because I have another video on this scholarship that I made last year. If you had once applied, then you have to select this option. If you are a new applicant, which means you are applying for the first time, then you need to click on this button. And then they say before you apply, it is important for you to read all of this information. They even have application writing tips for using the online application system. You must supply a valid email address. Go to the online application system, send us an inquiry. Take advantage of all of those information, read them and understand them well before you apply for this scholarship. I always tell people the reason as to why we don't succeed in getting scholarships is because we do not respect the guidelines. Now let's look at the eligibility criteria to apply for the scholarship. It says eligibility questionnaire. There is a questionnaire that you must answer, and the questionnaire will establish whether you are eligible for a scholarship by checking in which country you hold a citizenship, how long you've been living in your home country, how much work experience you have, and whether they do provide scholarship in your home countries. You must verify and make sure you pass all the eligibility criteria questions before you begin your application. The eligibility test can be done by clicking on this link, but as of now, because the application has not yet opened, it is not possible to do it. But you can go ahead and look at other eligibility requirements. There is the age factor. They say to apply for a Manaaki New Zealand, you must be 18 years older when you start your application. It means if you are 17 years of age when you apply, you must have your 18th birthday before you start your scholarship in one semester. So you can apply if you are 17 years, but make sure that before you begin your studies you are already 18 years age. The second factor is the work experience. Work experience can be paid, unpaid or voluntary, and must meet the following criteria. First one is 1 year full-time work experience, i.e. 30 hours of work or more per week. 2 years of part-time work, which is equivalent to 29 hours of work per week. You have to make sure you fulfill those conditions. And then the next one is that you must make sure you are in your final year of secondary school, or applicants who are in their first year of tertiary study that was started in the academic year immediately after completing secondary school, or you are in a paid or unpaid voluntary employment. So you must make sure you fulfill all of these conditions. The third condition is that you have to convince them that you intend to help in the development of your home country, and you can only prove this by showing to them that you've spent at least 2 years. You've been living in your home country for the past 2 years prior to applying for the scholarship, and you have been involved in some sort of development related projects that has been aimed at developing your home country. It's very important that you prove that you've been doing something positive to help in developing your home country, because they would want somebody who would go to New Zealand and study and then go back and help use that knowledge to develop their home country. Residency requirement in scholars' home country. You must make sure you've been living in your home country for at least 2 years prior to commencing your studies. So let's say you're coming from maybe India or Nigeria. Before applying, you must prove that you have been living in your country for the past 2 years. It should not be like you were maybe in another country and then you went back to your home country just to apply for the scholarship. You must prove that you have been busy doing something, working in your home country, contributing to the socio-economic development of your country. And you don't have to just say it with mouth, you have to prove it with maybe work documents. It's important. And then number 5 is academic and English requirement for scholars. You must make sure you meet the academic and English requirement. Since the Manaaki government is working with different university institutions in New Zealand, you must make sure you meet their minimum educational requirement for admission as well as their English requirement. So for example, if a university says that they want but IELTS, you must provide them with an IELTS exam certificate, and you must pass the different bands and obtain the scores that are needed for the different bands. And then for PhD, if you are applying for a PhD position, you must make sure you talk to a supervisor and request their approval for supervision. PhD applicants who make it to the interview stage will need to provide evidence at the interview that they have either secured a supervisor or are in active discussion with a potential supervisor. So it's very important because you will be doing research. And so these are the different English requirements that will be accepted. They say IELTS, an overall score of 6.5 with no band less than 6. There's TOEFL, a score of 90. The internet based with a writing score of 21. Person teaching English with its score, you have the Cambridge Academic English with its score. And then for those applying for undergraduate, you have to take into account the English course requirement. You still have enough time to get yourself ready and write an English test if you really want to study in the New Zealand. And here it's very important. They say only shortlisted applicants need to submit an English test score. So if you are applying for the Manaaki New Zealand scholarship, you do not need to start worrying about an English test score. But in case you succeed in your application, then you will be required at that time to provide an English test score. For now, when applying, if you do not have it, it's okay, you can apply without it. But in case you are shortlisted for the scholarship to undertake tertiary study in New Zealand, you must provide an English test score. There are other conditions that you must make sure you go ahead and read them. For the sake of not making this video long, I'm not going to get into them. They have the immigration and visa requirement for scholars and New Zealand border requirements. So go ahead and start getting yourself ready for this scholarship. It is also important to note that there are other scholarships in New Zealand. So the Manaaki New Zealand government scholarship is for both undergraduate and graduate studies. And then there is also the short-term training scholarship for Pacific and Timor-Leste citizens. And then there is a short-term training scholarship for Southeast Asian and Timor-Leste. And then you equally have an English language training for official scholars. So you can go ahead and look at the details of this scholarship. Maybe you might have an opportunity to succeed in them as well. That being said, I'll end the video here, but when the application process starts, we will make a tutorial on how to go about applying online. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.